going to be doing a candle tonight. So I bought this from Dunelm a few weeks, maybe months ago. My plan was always to remove the sticker on this and do something a little bit more personalised for my bathroom. It is going to be based on our other Instagram channel. So we do have an Instagram account for our house. We do a lot of DIY, a lot of painting, decorating. We bought this house just shy of a year ago now, so redone our dining room, the snug for the girls. They've got a little room, and we've got a lot more rooms to go through and redo, including this one as well, which is my office / craft space. So we are going to design a candle that reminds us of our other Instagram account. So it's going to say House at 45 on there, which is the Instagram account. Do follow if you would like to. And it is a lemon scented double wick candle, which does smell amazing. So I think I am going to do some lemons or some sort of design like that on it. So come along with me, have a look at what we are going to do, and I will show you the finished result. Enjoy.
So I'm in design space here, and what I've done, I've designed this before, and I did say in the little intro there that I was going to be doing lemons, but actually once I've played around with this, it's not something that I want to do. So what I've done here is I've created a first square, added another on top, and what I've done is sliced a section out, so I've got a nice thick border on that and just changing the colour. So it's one square on top of another, sliced it, and then deleted the section that I didn't want. Inside that then, what I've started doing is typing out what I would like. So I'm doing it into 2 separate lines. What you could do is do it all together and then separate the lines in the advanced function as well. So you can put them at different sizes. And as you can see, every time I'm designing it, it does look a little bit different. So you can really mess around with this and get that final result that you exactly want. So I found a line here in design space in images. So I've just typed line, and then I'm resizing that down to the same size as the box. And then I can then place that as well. With something like this, you need to make sure that all the lines are nice and aligned, that it's center in the middle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place everything on there, I'm going to place my text, and then I'm going to highlight it all and make sure that it is exactly where I want it. So you can play around with the font. None of it has to be the same font. You can see I'm just selecting and then centering all of that as well. So I'm just going to click on center and center again. There you go. So everything is nice and in the middle there. So that's an example of how I've put that. Now I did prefer the first one that I've done just because the border's a little bit thinner, and I'm sending that to the Cricut machine to cut. Now I'm using smart material on this, so I don't need a mat. So I've selected without a mat, and it will then make sure that I have to select the right material. So I'm using smart vinyl, matless vinyl, and that will cut lovely on that. So permanent vinyl, smart, and that goes straight into the machine without having to load it onto a mat. That's all my cutting done, and you can see it on here. All it needs now is to be weeded and stuck on to my candle base. So I'm going to cut out the section that I want, make sure that I am not wasting some of the vinyl that I don't need. So I can see the design on this. I'm just going to cut around it so that I can then weed anything off that I don't need. So I've got a weeding tool. This is one that my husband bought for me for Christmas. And as you can see, I'm taking all of that off and just making sure that I'm leaving the bits that I want to keep. Some of the fine lines are resisting a little bit, but just do it nice and slowly and make sure that it stays on. There we go. Just take those extra little bits out. So the inside of the letters. So I've got the O there and the little A and a couple of more. Really easy to take out. Just making sure that I don't leave them on there, because as soon as I use the transfer tape, it will transfer everything, including the little bits that are on there. So that's everything done, nice and clean. Very simple design this is, and it's just a really good example of showing you something that is quite simple and easy to do. So I've got this lovely little holder on here. My candle, as you can see, I've taken the sticker off on the side, the lemon sticker, and given it a bit of a clean down as well. So it's nice and clean and ready to go. So I've put some transfer tape over this, scraping it down, giving it a really, really good scrape, making sure that it's all stuck to the transfer tape. This is just standard transfer tape on here. And then I'm going to peel back really slowly and make sure that everything is still stuck on there. So it's not stuck down very well, so I'm giving it another rub um, just to make sure. So I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on this to make sure that it sticks down. And sometimes you can do the back as well, just to make sure that it is extra stuck down. Makes it just a little bit easier to transfer it from the carrier sheet onto the transfer tape to then stick onto your final design. So peeling back nice and slowly and bending that carrier sheet. Just needs a little bit of help there to stick onto that transfer sheet. It's worth doing this nice and slowly, because the last thing that you want is to lose some letters on it and then have to try and stick things back on after. Now, the smaller the letters, the harder it is going to be. There is a technique that is called reverse weeding. And that is when you put the whole design onto a piece of transfer tape and you basically weed backwards directly on the transfer tape. Sometimes that is worthwhile doing. I'll see if I can do another video on reverse weeding just to show you what that looks like, because some of the smaller letters here, because they are quite thin, there's essentially nothing to stick onto. So it is worth doing when you are doing a lot of lettering or some really small designs. I managed to get a letter stuck to my finger, so I did stop filming just to manage to fix all of that. But as I say, reverse weeding probably would have been the way forward on that. And do you know what? It's crafting. Sometimes these things happen. As you can see, I managed to get it back on there. It's all part of the fun. So the candle is cleaned. Bit of rubbing alcohol is good for that, especially on glass. It's all on the transfer tape. So what I'm going to do now is try and get that nice and straight on there and stick it down. What you then need to do is to apply a little bit of pressure to make sure that that permanent vinyl adheres to the surface that you're sticking on. So I'm rubbing that nicely down, making sure that it's stuck down on there, and a bit of a rub as well with my scraper tool. So I'm going to peel the transfer tape off, and that should, in theory, all stay there nicely. any bits that doesn't, and this is why it's important to do it nice and slowly, it's just to give it a bit of a rub if it hasn't stuck down properly, and it'll all adhere on there. And there we have it. That's the finished design. So it's ready to go downstairs now. And I'll show you what it looks like in situ. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to see more content. See you soon.